Hey everyone, welcome to the Northbound podcast. Today we're talking about building a legacy. And I don't know if you've ever thought about that, about what your legacy is or what it could be. As a leader, it's an important question to ask yourself. What's my legacy? If you're leaving your position, what is the legacy you're leaving to the next person that takes your spot? So I know this gentleman in the Omaha area who he does cement work. That's his main job, but he also does like trim work, like crown molding, and that kind of thing. And then on the cement side of his business, he builds the blueprints for the foundations and walls of buildings in this area. His name is Jorge, and he's from Mexico. And he came from Mexico over 30 years ago. And he came here because he wanted to build or start a family. And he wanted to do it in the United States because he felt like this country could offer more opportunities to his family. Now, keep in mind, he didn't have children and he wasn't married when he came here, but he was thinking about them. And he's very, very happy to tell me now that all of his kids have gone to college, they have successful careers, they're leading their families well. And he's very pleased with that and very proud of them. And I think that's really, really cool. He started a legacy for his family well before he even had a family. And it's very much like how God knew us before we were ever formed in the womb. And God had a plan for us before we were ever born. That's a legacy. I also want to tell you a story about two different gentlemen. The first gentleman I want to talk to you about is named Easy Eddie, and he was a lawyer. He was the lawyer for Al Capone. And he was pretty successful by the world standards. And he was definitely successful in the area of crime because he was a successful lawyer for Al Capone and made a lot of money. And so he lived on almost a whole block. His house was like almost a whole block in Chicago. And he then had a son. And when his son was very little, he decided, I don't like the legacy I'm going to leave for my son. So he decided to get out of the life of crime, and he actually gave up information on Al Capone, both to the IRS and to the FBI. And that actually led to the arrest of Al Capone and subsequently him going to prison. But that desire to change a legacy, that desire to get out of a life of crime, cost Easy Eddie his life because he was ultimately gunned down in the streets of Chicago because of that. Let me tell you another story. Now, this gentleman is named Butch O'Hare. And if you've ever flown into the Chicago airport named O'Hare International, that's named after Butch O'Hare. Why? Well, because Butch was in the Navy. And in the Navy, he was taking off from the aircraft carrier Lexington in his fighter aircraft going on a mission. And as he took off, he realized that he had not been given enough fuel. And so he was not going to have enough fuel to accomplish the mission. And so his buddies went off without him, and he was circling back around to land on the aircraft carrier. And as he was circling around, he noticed that there were Japanese bombers coming in to attack the fleet. And so instead of landing, and he probably should have because he didn't have much fuel, he instead went after the Japanese bombers and ultimately, all by himself, defended the American fleet. And the Japanese bombers ran away. And because of that, because of his heroism, Butch O'Hare was awarded the Medal of Honor. Now, Butch O'Hare was the son of Easy Eddie. Easy Eddie O'Hare. It's a cool story. And it's a story of legacy, of leaving a legacy. And so as leaders, we should think about that. What is our legacy? And we should think about, as often as you can, the people that you lead. How are you leading them? How are you taking care of them? Ask yourself those questions and spend time just thinking about that. Nothing else. No TV, no Instagram, nothing. Maybe just a notepad and a pen and write down the people that you are responsible for and what they need and how they could succeed. Go one by one and ask yourself that. And then ask yourself, what is the legacy that I'm leaving for them? How am I taking care of them? If you want to talk about more, or just talk about this more, or you want to learn more about leadership, or you want to meet people who are learning about leadership and sharing their successes and failures, I'd encourage you to come to www.go-northbound.com. And from there, you can take the link that will lead you to the Northbound Approach community. That's a community where we all learn from each other. We share our successes and our failures. There's classes there. There's podcasts. There's forums, chat rooms, you name it, all to become better leaders together. All right. Thanks, everyone. You just listened to another episode from the Northbound podcast. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you are encouraged and empowered in leadership. Go lead boldly and humbly. And remember our vision, elevate your team through Christ-centered leadership. If you want to be a part of our community, just go to go-northbound.com and follow the link and come join us. Follow along with courses and live streams and chats, and maybe even join us for an adventure. We'd love to have you. All of those links are in the description below. Thank you again for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. See ya.